Hello. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. How's it going? Nice
Hi,
to
I'm
meet you.
good. Nice to meet you too. My
Thanks.
name's Maddie.
Uh, I want to cancel this lesson. I'm back. Okay.
No worries. You
Hello.
back? Hi. Um, so it's nice to meet you. My name is Maddie.
Nice to meet you, Mehdi. Where are you from?
I'm from New Zealand.
Welcome to you.
And where are you from?
Can you guess?
I can have a look, but I don't want to cheat. Somewhere in the Middle East.
Absolutely in Middle East. That's right. But which country do I live?
I've got no idea.
You
Where
can
do you
guess
live?
from my. You can guess from my name.
I don't know.
I'm from Iraq.
Oh, cool. I know I could have
Mm.
checked, but I didn't want to cheat. It does say
Yeah.
somewhere on here, but I was like, I don't want to cheat. Where in
Mm.
Iraq do you live?
I live in South Baghdad.
Oh, yeah. See, I don't really know
Mm.
much about Iraq. Like, where Baghdad?
Mm. Uh, okay, let me ask you about something. Are you tutor or just native speaker?
Native speaker. So I've been on Cambly though for like, oh my gosh, like 6 months, I think.
6 months about what?
I've been on Cambly for about six
Yes.
months.
How do you know that?
How do I know how long I've been on
Yes,
Cambly?
yes. Mm,
Because I remember that I started doing it in November.
mm.
So
Yes.
that's about
You have
longer.
right information. Yes, longer. I start with Cambly from last year at November. I think in 19th November.
Mm,
I subscribe on Cambly to improve my English language. I'm English teacher. I
yeah.
teach English in primary school. I talk to the so many tutors on Cambly to ask them about the grammar, about the sentences, expressions, idiom, and so many questions. Okay. Let me ask you about something, Miss Madi.
Yeah.
How is there a specific way to improve my English language?
There's so many, like, there's so many ways I would say to improve. I think, like, my biggest advice for everybody is always just like, I mean, you use English every day because you're an English teacher, but I think like continuing to expose yourself and immerse yourself in the English language and like making sure that you are challenging yourself. Like if your goal is to learn like new vocabulary or improve like your, I don't know, like your sentence structure or the words that you're using or how you're speaking, I
Do
would
you
say like,
think do you think it's safe sentences it's better than to read the words or anything?
what was that? Sorry, do I think it's better
Uh,
to speak? Then read.
to read and save the sentence, practice the sentence in English. For example, I wake up, I sleep, I eat lunch with my family, I travel. Uh, Similar that sentences in English to save it's better to than read and say the vocabularies.
I would say it's better to like read, like, do you mean like to, is it better to read like whole sentences rather than just singular words?
Yes.
Yeah. Um, it depends. So like I feel like to learn new words, you are learning, usually you're learning them through reading new materials. So like you might be reading a book and you might see words that you don't understand. And I feel like that's a good way to learn new words. But you if you're learning a new word, you need to learn it in context. So in a whole sentence or in a paragraph, because otherwise you won't
Mhm.
understand necessarily how to use that word.
Sometimes to lost, I live in Arabic country, and
Mm.
I sometimes to speak Arabic it's more than English, and sometimes to forget the vocabularies or sentences. Um how can you help me with that to remember the vocabularies or remember the sentences or expressions or idioms?
Honestly, practice and like continuing to like have the English language around you. So like listening, I think like things like listening to podcasts or watching TV are really good because they use really common idioms and expressions. And if you're constantly listening to how people are speaking, then it becomes
Mm.
more normal and it becomes easier for you to remember. But also, in saying that, sometimes you just forget. Like, English is the only language I've spoken since I was a child, and still I will forget words or I'll forget phrases, like it's just part of life and the human brain. So don't like beat yourself up if you forget
Uh,
things.
a practice that's meant to speak with yourself or with your native speaker. It's Do you think in practice it's mean better than save the words? That's mean to practice the sentences, to speak, to make conversation, and to put the words or sentences in your brain uh, automatically without affect yourself or impair or struggle with yourself to save the vocabularies or sentences.
Like, do I think that speaking English is like the best way to
Yes,
practice?
yes.
Yeah, yeah. I
Mm.
think having like being able to have conversations in English and being able to have conversations about different topics, I think is really good. Because something I can notice like since I've been on Cambly is that um, you can get very good at talking about the basics and talking about yourself, and the vocabulary to talk about yourself and your hobbies and what you do. But I feel like sometimes it's quite difficult to express your opinions or articulate how you feel about something. Um, so I think being able to have a conversation about a range of different topics is the best way to practice. Um, and you can do that as well. Like, you don't necessarily need to be speaking with another person. Like, a lot of people use like Chat GPT, um, or
Do you think ChatGPT it's useful for the person who want to improve in language?
yeah, I think it's useful. I think obviously the best thing is always having a conversation with somebody, a
But
real life person.
but unfortunately there is a pros, cons and pros in ChatGPT. When I ask him
Yeah,
something, I asked ChatGPT about are you married, and they told me I'm Robert. I cannot answer that.
Yeah,
Sometimes this is a pros, and we can speak with him about something you like, about some topics, like to talk about the internet or about studying English, about the learning English. It's good, but it's not to be similar or like the real human. Absolutely.
it's definitely never going to be as good, but I think it's still helpful. Um, and like another thing I always like suggest as well, and it sounds weird, and a lot of people feel uncomfortable doing it, but is just like talking to yourself and like talking to yourself in the mirror or like narrating what you're doing.
I'm not crazy. I am to talk with you myself.
I know it sounds weird, but it's really helpful. Um, and it's something I used to do. Like I used to do a lot of drama when I
Hmm.
was younger, and I would rehearse all of my lines in the mirror. And you feel like a weirdo, but it's really good practice because it's kind of like you're talking to somebody else.
Is there a New Zealand website to learn English?
There must be. We have I don't know about like free websites. Um, but we have like a lot of English schools. So like a lot of people come to like study and learn English in New Zealand. Um, but I don't really think there's like free online websites. I think you have to pay for them.
Oh
Uh,
no, that's terrible. It cost me an arm and legs.
yeah, it would cost you an arm and a leg. It would. Oh, so it's free if you like live in New Zealand, but not if you don't.
I look for something called cheapest chips.
Yeah, yeah, good. Cheap as chips. Have you have you spoken to many people from New Zealand before? Like have you heard the New
Yes,
Zealand
yes,
accent a lot?
yes. Yes, I speak with so many tutors from New Zealand. Your New Zealand accent, it's really clear and I can understand. I like New Zealand, and New Zealand it's very beautiful country in the world. And sometimes to explain about New Zealand, it's not a very big country in the world, but the first country in the world has received the sunshine.
Yeah, so
Yes,
there's we
and the
often
first country in the world received the New Year.
yeah. So have people told you about like how there's a festival, there's a place in New Zealand called Gisborne and that
No.
has so
Yes.
in Gisborne they have a New Year's festival and you either stay up really late or you get up really early at the end of the festival and you sit on this big hill and you watch the sunrise. And it's the first place, like this one city specifically in New Zealand, is the first place in the world to see the sunrise.
Okay. Do you think learning like babies is better?
Learning like what? Sorry?
Do you think learning English like babies it's better?
Like
Because
like like babies.
babies, yes.
What do you
Because
mean?
babies always ask their parents or his mother or his or her mother about everything about anything. That's mean to ask to learn. What's this? Mom, what's this? Dad, what's this? Uh, what can we call this? This is a better way, I think, to learn. It's faster and to always to remember to ask about everything you don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like the more questions you ask, the more answers you're going to get, and the more you're going to learn. So I always say like ask a lot of questions and it's really helpful. I can see